This is the Inner Peacemaker Parent Podcast, which is all about Christ-centered self-care. My name is Cassandra Kimball, and this is episode 7, Why I Fired That Outfit. Today was one of those mornings when I picked out an outfit that looks good on me, but only when I tuck a little here and I hike up a little there. Do you know what I mean? Like what I'm talking about? It's one of those outfits where it looks good, but you have to adjust a bit to get to that look. And if I don't do those little adjustments, my tummy kind of like pooches out a little bit more than I hope, and it like no longer looks very good, in my opinion. So I noticed I'm becoming more and more observant of myself. I think because I'm an inner peacemaker coach, I just observe myself more and more, and I observe other people. And so today, I noticed that I adjusted my clothing a number of times. I noticed I did so like right after I got dressed. I noticed I did it right before I did family scripture time. It's like everyone's gonna be looking at me, so I kind of adjust a little. I adjusted my clothing before I went outside my home. After I got out of the car, when I was at my morning job, I noticed myself do it a few times. By the time I was driving home, as I was like making that transition to like I was gonna be home soon, I'm now gonna get into this my next role of like inner peacemaker coaching work. So like during that transition, I realized that by 10:42 in the morning, I had done this clothing adjustment at least 12 times. At least 12 times, and just in a span of a few hours, right? And perhaps that's not a big deal to you, or it is. Just to me as a coach, like we just use things like this as data. So everything, including emotions, especially emotions, is all just good data to me. So I continued reflecting, like while I'm driving home, right? I continued reflecting what I was thinking about or feeling while I made those adjustments to my clothing, right? Like it just takes a few seconds, just like pull my shirt a little bit this way, hike up my pants a little this way, right? Like little adjustments. Like what was I thinking during that like transition, right? Of what I was doing. A couple times I was thinking about my body, right? Like hoping at the angle that I was sitting that my stomach wasn't like pooching out too much rather than right? So I'm thinking like what I did instead of, right? So I was thinking of my stomach instead of, rather than on things like I was sitting at a table this morning at my morning job with an elderly gentleman. He was like telling me a story, and I noticed that my mind was focused on like, oh, is my stomach kind of pooching out a little bit instead of focusing on his story. Okay, so that's one example. I realized I was focused on my body rather than striving to like make sure I like silently could like I didn't invite like the spirit to be with me before I had scripture time, right? Like, and not that I always do or anything, but I'm just noticing, right? Just we're just observing. I was just focused on my body because I was like, oh, I want to tuck this in a little before all eyes turn on me for scripture time. I was focused on my body rather than the other moms when I was dropping off kids at the girls this morning at their school. I, instead of like thinking about, I wonder how so and so is doing. I wonder how that mom is feeling today. I was like, man, I look good in this outfit, right? Like, just interesting. Just, we're just observing. I'm just getting really curious about what I was thinking instead of other things, right? So it's just so curious to me how thoughts, like all the thoughts I had, I could have, it's just like a seemingly small thing, but it was a lot of little moments, right? A while back, I took a class from one of my current mentors, Jody Moore. Just love her. She's one of my current mentors right now, and she taught this class. I couldn't find it exactly, but I just wanted to teach like the main idea. She was teaching the importance of and giving us permission permission, like we need it, right? But just in a playful way. She was giving us permission to fire some of our clothing, some of like our clothes in our closet. To clarify, I don't mean to set on fire. You know what I mean? Like in a job, when someone gets fired from a job, right? She's saying it's okay to fire some of your clothes. Now, even though I still don't like 100% love the comparison, it did stick in my mind. So that's still a plus. That's good. And I was thinking while preparing this episode how it must be hard to fire someone, right? I have never done that before, but it must be hard to fire someone. And I was thinking, just like the outfit that I was wearing today, that was one of my, if you're thinking like your favorites outfits, that was one of my upper favorites, like kind of up there. One of my upper favorite outfits. And it does look good on me sometimes. And like my stepmom gave it to me as like a hand-me-down. And it's unique in my wardrobe. Like it has a little tie on the side and a lot of my clothes are kind of plain. And so I was like, it's something different finally. Anyway, so I was just thinking it might be kind of hard to fire that shirt. So I do like that comparison. I'm like, yeah, it is kind of hard to fire certain things, right? It's hard to me anyway. It was kind of hard to feel that way. So I've kept it a lot around for so long, right? In some ways. But I also mixed in the thoughts that I have been working on being open to finding more ways to love my current body and no longer wanting to hide myself, right? I've talked about hiding before, and I don't want to feel ashamed or have my body feel I'm ashamed of parts of my body or guilt it into thinking it's less than something great. Like, I won't be ashamed of you after you lose this weight, right? Like, I don't want to like cover it up in certain ways or tuck it in or try to suck it in or whatever. Or like, I'll be happier if I don't see that part of you. I don't know, that just doesn't feel kind in my mind. And so, like, I can still want to improve and get better. It's not like, okay, this is how I am. Like, I don't mean it that way. But rather, because I want to like keep improving my life in all area aspects of my life, right? That's what the atonement of Jesus Christ is all about. Like, we continually want to keep improving, including our bodies. I totally believe in that. The atonement of Jesus Christ is included in that. So I no longer want my body to feel I'm hiding it or I'm ashamed of it today. How it is exactly today, right now. So I wanted to share that when I got home from my morning job, right? And all these thoughts, like it's only like a 7-minute drive home, but all these thoughts came up. As when I came in the house, I put my stuff down and I quickly went upstairs and without hesitation, I didn't like want to second guess it or anything. Without hesitation, I changed into a new shirt. And I was about to throw the shirt. I like debated. I'm like, should I throw it in the trash? And then I realized maybe someone else will think it's cute on their body, right? So I put it in the hamper to wash it, but to take it to a thrift store later. But I did, instead of like treating it like trash, right? I thanked it for trying to bring me joy. And then I got changed into a new outfit. And then I walked out of my room, yeah, just in a completely different outfit that I feel comfortable in and I don't feel like I'm hiding any bits of me in it. And I cannot tell you, I can't adequately express what I suddenly felt inside myself when I did this small action. This seemingly small action of just changing into something, intentionally changing into a different outfit that was not hiding any part of me. And I did it intentionally, right? Like I was trying to show my body, like, I'm not ashamed of you. I love you just the way you are today. My eyes filled from emotion of the amount of love I felt from my body. I feel like my body was thanking me, that my heart was thanking me, that my mind, everything, it just felt so united and loved. It felt so good. My mind felt filled with this pure kind of love. My mind and my heart and my body it was filled. And it's interesting because I have been praying for more charity, right? To like follow our prophet. Been praying for more charity. And I've just imagined it was going to look a different way, like charity for more people and charity for my calling and all that kind of stuff. But I was surprised. And so I was surprised today. This was one way that I could see that prayer being answered, just for me personally. And I didn't know that my body needed and like desperately wanted to feel that kind of love, like a pure kind of love from the actions of what clothes I choose to put on, what I choose to put on it. I invite you to reflect if there is any clothing you too might need to fire from your wardrobe. I'd invite you to use um it's that sweet Japanese lady. She does the she's an organizing consultant and she's an author. I know she did like a Netflix thing. I'm probably gonna say her name wrong. I'm sorry. Marie Kondo. I think that's her name. But she right? She just advises like keeping only items in your house that spark joy and then thanking items before you discard them. I love that method. I think that's a beautiful way to get rid of things and to keep things, right? This brings me joy. I'm going to bring that. I'm going to keep this. My girls are really good now because I did teach them that of thanking their toys when we get rid of them. And now they do that automatically. I sometimes forget about it. And then my girls start doing it. I'm like, oh, that's such a good method. So thank you, Marie Kondo, for that. That's a beautiful thing. So I did that today, right? Thank to that shirt. So I'm reminding you too, when you fire something from your wardrobe, to make sure to thank it, right? So thank that one shirt or that one dress or that bathing suit or outfit for striving to bring you joy, right? But that you've been like secretly hiding or shaming a part of your body, right? In that outfit. So that's why sometimes when I said it today, I was like, thank you for striving to bring me joy, right? Because it was trying to make me feel pretty and cute inside and stuff. And so I thanked it for that, right? And anyway, if this feels right to you, right? I never want to force you to do something that you're like, that's weird, or don't worry, you don't have to. And I had to be in the right place emotionally to do that today too. I heard that concept, like I told you, Jody Moore told me months ago that idea of firing stuff in my wardrobe. And I was like, maybe. See, I just like planted a little thought, a little tiny thought. And then today was the right day for it. So even if it's that way for you too, right? We're just going to plant that thought inside of your head. And when the timing is right, um, yeah, I just want to give that thought to you. I also recently, I'm remembering, I recently gave up a dress in my closet that I felt so pretty in. I even wore it to like a wedding, but I was asked at that wedding if I were pregnant in it. And after I went to the bathroom and cried about it, I later on was like, you know what? That sweet person that told me that, she was totally right. It does look that way on me. It looks like I'm pregnant in that dress. So that dress was fired from my closet. And perhaps if firing seems a little too harsh, maybe you want to say you want to let go instead of fire. Whatever feels right to you. I don't know. Does that soften the blow? I'm letting you go. Maybe not. But still, I was just surprised. Again, I was just surprised how much love I felt from that one action today. I was filled with so much appreciative love coming from my body. It just felt like this deep gratitude that had been missing in my life. It felt amazing. So I just want to offer that to you if it can support you too. Remember that wearing clothing that needs constant adjustment, you totally can do it, right? You totally can. But it not only sends a signal to your body that something needs to be hidden away, but like in my examples just from today, it also like stole moments away from me from like my focus with my family scripture study. It like kind of just a little bit, right? Like this wasn't some huge like sin or transgression. I'm not saying that like, but it kind of took that away from me, right? Like it stole away my focus from my family scripture study. It made me feel a moment of pride. And not the good kind of pride, like the where it's like on a ladder where you're kind of looking down on other people. It kind of put that, like when I was dropping off my kids at school and I was walking around some other moms, kind of look down a little bit on other moms. Like, look how good I look. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Just curious about it. So another thing. So I was saying, so it stole away my focus from my family scripture study. It gave me that little moment of like pride when I'm walking around other moms. And then it distracted me from listening and being more present, like more intently to the elderly man that I was helping this morning at work. Isn't I guess is that worth it? I don't know. To me, the answer is no. Nope. No longer. Right? It's just that's not worth it to me anymore. And I'm sure I'm going to do this work a number of different times, but I just I love that I was still long enough in the car ride home to just observe that about myself and how a specific outfit made me think, feel, and act. I think after I get dressed in the mornings, I'm just going to double check in the mirror, like to notice like if I can feel comfortable enough in my clothes to keep the light in my eyes, then I'm ready to go. I think that's just going to be my check-in in the mornings. Can I see the light in my eyes? Can I feel it when I'm in this outfit? I'm ready to go. And that light I'm talking about is from that fun talk by President Faust. You know, he talked about in General Conference in 2005, and he shared this little this little story. He said, so this is back in 2005. He shared, I recently recalled a historic meeting in Jerusalem about 17 years ago. It was regarding the lease for the land on which the Brigham Young University's Jerusalem Center for Near Eastern Studies was later built. Before this lease could be signed, President Ezra Taft Benson and Elder Holland, who was president of the BYU at that time, the two of them, they agreed with the Israeli government on behalf of the church and the university not to proselyte in Israel. You might wonder why we agreed not to proselyte. We were required to do so in order to get the building permit to build that magnificent building, which stands in the historic city of Jerusalem. So after the lease had been signed, one of our friends insightfully remarked, oh, we know that you're not going to proselyte, but what are you going to do about the light that is in their eyes? So President Faust went on to say, he was referring to our students who were studying in Israel. And he goes on and he says, what was that light in their eyes which was so obvious to our friend? The Lord himself gives the answer. And the light which shineth, which giveth you light, is through him who enlighteneth your eyes. And then Elder Faust says, where did that light come from? Again, the Lord gives that answer. He says, I am the true light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world. The light is the true light, and the Spirit enlighteneth every man through the world that hearkeneth to the voice of the Spirit. This light shows in our countenances as well as in our eyes. Close quote. To have a light that I can share, to me, is more important than a specific outfit. I needed to fire that outfit today. I still want to dress nice and look and feel good about myself. I'm not saying that. But when my mind and heart are more focused on tucking this in here or pulling this down here, I am more focused on my pride and my body, just more so than I personally want to be focused on. And when I have fully taken care of myself and I dress in a nice and modest way, I am so ready and happy to be ready to focus on others, to focus on things that are even more important to me, like focusing on having the spirit at family scripture time, or being present with that elderly person I work for, or focus on checking in on other moms at drop off to see if they're doing okay. That's the way I want to dress so I can show up with more light, to see better, to love better, to be more present, to have a pure kind of love for my own body. No more hiding, shaming it. Our bodies are doing a lot of work. So I want to send the message back to it of, I care about you, body. I got you. That is how I want to talk and treat my body. So best wishes to you. as you consider if it's the right time for you to fire an outfit that isn't helping you show up more of the way you want, because you are meant for big things. You got this. Take care. And if I can ever support you more, my website at creobalance.com, and creo is kind of a wonky word, I know, but it's Latin for I create. It's CREO. So creobalance.com. It has resources all aimed to help support your efforts to be an inner peacemaker. Take care.